The topic is server and services. I will give you a quick review about the topic. What are the things we are able to learn here? The first one is about what is peer-to-peer, what is server and client, what is workgroup and domain, what is an active directory, what is DHCP, what is DNS. So in this one, in a server and client model, actually what is a server? Why we call particular server as a particular server, like a DHCP server, DNS server. What is that server? It is type of servers it is. Okay, based on the type of servers, based on the what service it is providing. Type of servers based on what operating system you install. Type of servers based on the hardware wise configuration or a hardware wise it is server it is. And those differences. What is the meaning of data center? What is the data center components? What is data center monitoring means? Just very simple point out. Next, what is work group? What is domain? Okay, what is work group? What is domain? Are you in the work group? Are you in the domain? Also, how to check it? This is an active directory domain system. So, what is an active directory? Just what is active directory? And of course, I will share one link to you guys. In that link, there is active directory practical link. It is. You can see what is a client, what is active directory machine. It means what is server, what is client, how to create a user in the domain, how to log in the client. That is also I will share it. Okay, compulsory. Everybody must watch at least the 50%. Last 50% means last 40 minutes you have to watch it. So that is complete set video, but watch. Yeah, I'm not going. There is a part of Azure in the introduction of Azure AD. So, like to explain that one, I have written like this. So this is not directly cloud related, but in a cloud, what are the base questions and what are those things you must know if you know cloud means it's a very basic definitions. What is a cloud? Benefits of cloud. Difference between on-premises cloud or a server to sorry on-premises server or a data center to cloud. Difference or advantages. Different cloud service models, cloud types, and cloud service providers with examples. This is also a common question in any kind of interview nowadays. So compulsory go through this one, guys. Okay, so if I got a chance, then I will explain. Otherwise I will explain separately. Next topic is we are going to DHCP and DNS. Okay, so what is a DHCP? What is how to assign IP address manually, dynamically? Means what are the options you have to select it. This you already know, but I will try to show you that. Okay, this is how DHCP server works to give an IP address to you. So this is which one you have to select to get an IP address from DHCP server or to assign IP address manually. What is IP address? What is DNS server? How it is works? Basic DNS server concept. And if possible, I will try to not possible. So this is compulsory. I am telling how we are getting name resolution. Normally, you are telling in DNS when you open a website like this, you open a site. Okay, so you open a link, or this is a main name, right? So we'll get an IP address after it. You open a google.com, a facebook.com, or a youtube.com. Okay, so automatically we'll get an IP address of it from DNS server. But in a real time, how it is linked. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say. Um, that storage kind of concept that is again depends upon purely time related, guys. Okay, normally storages hard disk I will tell in the hardware classes, but in a server there is a different type of storages. Okay, all overall storage names also there. If you can go through these PPTs and find out some names information if you can able to try that. Okay, so guys, it's only about the timing. So means how much time we have to deal with it. Okay, now we'll see someone send. This is the overview of a your classes. Rani Kumari
Sir,
present.
Adesh,
Yes, sir.
Adesh Agrawal
sir,
also
Adesh.
present. Very good.
Okay.
People getting attendance and no one is left after, not after while class is going on itself. We need that auto detection AI system kind of stuff. So people left immediately absent. 1, 2, 3 type. One means present. Two means disconnected. Mean not present. Three means connected again. Means no problem. Two means completely absent. Punishment. Okay. So no problem, guys. I'll start peer to peer. I don't mind. Guys, my point is live attending live classes is good. Means like at least an interactive class, not a recording one. I recording just for a reference purpose. But live thing is you don't understand. Last time also one or two people not understand. People ask me like, sir, please, we don't understand it. Okay, so that is the one thing. Another example wise, doubt clarification wise, also this is very useful. So that's why better to stay in the class. How many recordings are there? How many channels? I have a full set of recordings are there. Complete one CTS, non-service desk, like everything, including servers, practical videos are there. I can share it, so then no problem, right? So it's a class recording only. Okay. So not a main point. Okay. Please keep in a classroom and any doubt, any interaction required, anything. Guys, peer to peer. What is peer to peer? It is a kind of point to point type only. Okay. Some people will confuse between point to point to peer to peer. Peer to peer is nothing but a it is nothing but a what we can say peer to peer. It's a it's a kind of work group type model. Or a work group is a kind of peer-to-peer type model. Anything you can say. Okay. So is there a PCs, APC, PPC, okay, CPC. So APC giving a message to B or a APC contains a data. APC contains a data and sharing the data through the network. So BPC can able to access this data. Can able to access this data from here. A contains a file, the B accessing that file through network. So this is a peer-to-peer. Guys, so in this instant, A is providing information, B is accessing that information. Or A is giving a file and B is taking the file. Or B is downloading a file or accessing the file. It is in this instant, A is like a server, B is like a client. But there is no centralized server or a client. No permanent server, no permanent client, okay, kind of stuff. So it is a peer to peer. Okay. So in this particular instant, it act like a server, it act like a client. For example, I have a printer. The printer is connected to the PC connected to a printer with USB cable or something. This is my printer. So you can able to access this printer from CPC. If you share this printer, if CPC share a printer, okay, if CPC share a printer like this symbol, share a printer means people can able to access the printer through the network. So like A want to take a print, so they will contact first C. Through C, they can able to take a print. B want to take a print, so they will contact C. to C they can able to. In this particular instant, C is act like a print server and there is a printer, A is act like a client. Okay. So it's a peer-to-peer, it's a kind of work group model. So in a network, for example, there is a two or more PCs are there, they can able to share information, data, or maybe a resources. It's a kind of work group model, sharing information, data, resources between two or more system without centralization. So no centralized control, nothing is okay. No centralized control. A system act like a server, other act like a client in the particular instance only. In this particular instant only. In this time only, this is a relationship. Otherwise, no relationship. Different relationship. Okay. That is peer to peer. Okay, guys. The next one is server and client. What is a server? Server provide a service. Client acts as a service. Server provide a service. Client acts as the service. This is a server. For example, it is a web server. For example, a web server. Web server is always a web server or this particular instant only is a web server. This particular instant only it is a web server. Not like that, no. A is giving a data in this particular only, in particular instant only, it is a file server. Not always. Okay. C is in a particular instance only, it is a print server. Okay. In that instance only, it is a server. But web server is always a server. Okay. DHCP server, it is always a DHCP server. DNS server is always a DNS server. Like a server is always a server. Server provide a service. The users will access the service from server. Of course, through network only, but it is a centralized one. Okay, I'm not talking in a domain manner, guys. I'm talking in a centralized one. It is a one server, multiple clients, not one-to-one communication. It is one server, multiple clients. So multi point to point to multi-point. Now this is multi-point to one point. Means one single server is accessed by multiple client PCs. So not in particular instant, guys. It is central server. It is so everybody can able to access from it. So server provide a service. Remember always server provide a service. Client access the service. For example, you take a web server provide a web pages through the web services. Client access, client means through web browser, you can access the web pages from web server. Okay, okay. So, but the thing is, what I said, actually that is little reverse. Guys, always remember, client request for a service to the server, or client send a request to the server. Client send a request to server, or client request for a service to the server. Server send a response to the client, or server send a service response to the client, or you can say like that, or service server send a response to them. Send a I need a web page, that is your request. Server see your request, is the page is available, then it will provide a service, right? Want a IP address, you send a request to DHCP server, I want an IP address. Then server will tell you, so do you want an IP address? Take this IP address like this. Okay. The DNS server, like you send a, I want an IP address of facebook.com. DNS server take your request and give the IP address of facebook.com. Okay. NTP server, network time protocol server. And you send a request from your client, you send a request. I want to synchronize my time based on this time zone at this present time. So then you will get automatically time configured. Means, guys, always client has to send a request, then only server response according to client request. Understand, guys? Server and client. What happened? 20, 30 members are there almost.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Did
sir.
hear any now? Oh, 20, 19 members. Attendance completed. Tomorrow onwards, I will take attendance after 6 o'clock. Those who are available, so they will go to the person test. Other all people will remove from the list from tomorrow onwards. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sir, I'm present, but in this list, my name is not mentioned.
But you are in my attendance, right?
Group in
Then
group.
I don't know that version test and all. Just I'm telling, you know, we are adding the people by list of attendance sheet. People are there, but people are left. Almost like a 5, 6 members are left. That is not good, no? So not good for me. Suddenly, Ravan sir or Ruxana madam will connect, ask how many people are there. They want to announce some information orally, not a text also. Right? Then what will happen? People who are not there, they will miss. That is important. Okay. I'm
Okay.
continuing. That is why I said once you join, be there. Any problem, have a group, then you can send it to something, internet problem, something. You got a message. Rupali Kumar, I don't know who is that person. 19 members. I didn't get it. See. The morning is there, now it is not there. Yeah, it is not for fighting or this attendance part. It's already 10 to 4. Okay, so guys, here is a server and it is a based on what service it is providing. I'm telling a different type of servers. These are the some of the type of servers based on the what service it is providing. Guys, remember one important thing. You are having a server. Okay, there's just I removed it, but see, this is a system, a computer, right? Server hardware computer, whatever it is. It's a computer only. It contains a CPU, RAM, hard disk, okay, motherboard, SMBS, whatever it is. It's a computer, laptop, computer, all are same only. Okay, tower server, remote rack server, whatever it is, it's a computer. It contains an operating system. So it is a machine means it contains a hardware and top of hardware there is some operating system. So this is a machine. This is a machine able to provide a service. Then only it is become a server. How it can able to provide a service, guys? It is OS built-in features are there. That is called roles and features kind of stuff. Built-in roles and features are by installing some packages. Okay, by installing certain packages in the operating system or maybe installing an application or by application. Of course, one least possibility is there by installing a hypervisor kind of operating systems. Okay, that is another point. But here it is, guys. You have a machine means you have a hardware, and on top of hardware you install an operating system. There is a certain roles and features built inside your operating system. By installing those roles or features, or by installing some packages or an applications, this system can able to provide a service. For example, you install a package called Apache sttpd in Linux PC. If you install this Apache sttpd, you become a web server. In Microsoft servers, there is a Microsoft IIS is there, Internet Information Service. If you install this one, you become a web server, same web server. If you install a Tomcat, Apache only it is Tomcat. Tomcat built-in web server it is there. Tomcat application contains a built-in application. Glassfish also built-in web server it is there, and of course your server become application server. Application server or a application web server come application server. Okay, so by installing built-in role or a feature, by installing packages, or by installing some applications like a Microsoft Exchange applications, mail communication, Zimbra, by installing a built-in feature, by installing built-in feature or a role, or by installing package or an application, so then your machine become a server. Guess whatever the server it is, you have to send a request to the server, then only it will give response. You're sending a request and receiving means your server and client communication based on the protocols. Communication based on the protocol. What service you required, what you are getting. So that is a kind of. So web server, HTTP, HTTPS, Apache, HTTPD, Microsoft IIS, Tomcat, and Glassfish. Like a both, it works by both web server as well as a application server kind of. FTP server is there. FTP server works based on a protocol FTP, SFTP, vsftp applications. Okay, by installing these packages, it works. Of course, client side I didn't sell, but server side it is. So this because server side is important. DHCP server by installing DHCP package or DHCP built-in roles. DNS server DNS server name server it is. DHCP provide a IP address to the client. It configure IP address to the client. Guys, remember DHCP dynamic host configuration protocol. It assign an IP address to client PCs. So we are getting an IP address. You are connected to your network. Immediately your laptop or mobile phone having an IP address. Why? Because of your route track like a DHCP server. Through DHCP service, you are getting an IP address. You're configured with IP address. Yes, DNS. So DHCP and DNS by side by side. So we'll get confused the statements, but still try to understand. DNS domain name system. For example, I want to communicate with google.com or facebook.com, youtube.com. I don't know the IP address of these .coms. I don't know the IP address. So our request go to DNS server to find the IP address of youtube.com or facebook.com or google.com. So once it is find an IP address, it will give you that IP address of that particular destination. So that is a DNS. Web servers. Nowadays we are all accessing web services, right? Web pages. Okay, so web applications we are accessing. So that is delivered by web server only. File servers are used for uploading and downloading files using FTP type of protocols or NFS type of protocol. Yes, domain controller. Domain controller is a server which is used for authenticate server. Like you want to access the network services or storages or systems. This Active Directory will authenticate users to log in the domain. It will we are using to create a domain controller. Using domain controller, like we create a logical domain space. Okay, it is a logical administrative boundary. WDS, Windows Deployment Server. Windows deployment. What is Windows deployment? WDS, Windows deployment means so you can deploy operating system through network. You can install an operating system to a server using CD-ROM, DVDs, pen drives, kind of stuff. Like physically, you can go to each one by one server. Okay, but WDS server, using WDS server, so you can deploy operating system into server. Okay, through network. So multiple machines you can install operating system through network. Mail servers. You are sending and receiving your mails, of course. So it is a mail server. There is a mail server. Mail server become a mail server by based on installing applications like MS Exchange, Zimbra, or Coral Mail applications, Tomcat applications. By installing, it become a mail server. Mail server use three protocols: SMTP, POP3, and IMAP. VPN server, remote connectivity. I am in my home. I want to access my server or a infrastructure, or we can say a database server or application server. Okay, or I want to deploy something in that server or a machine remote thing. Okay, so I have to connect it through internet only. But it is very dangerous. So I will connect it through VPN, virtual private network. VPN server is established the connectivity over the internet, okay, with encrypted tunnels it will provide. So when you are connected to the VPN, so once connection is established, you are communicating to your infrastructure in the organization, like you are communicating the local network, but over the public network. So yes, when I send a packet to the server for the internet, so it is a possible that people knows what packet is you are sending in the direct public network it is. But in the public itself, virtually we are creating a private network. Private means dedicated connection. Public means no dedicated, anybody can go. Like it is a highway road. Public is like a highway road. Private means your own channel, your own. You own that route, your own road. Okay? It's a kind of your own road, not completely own, but like your own road, or you rent a road only for you. So in yeah, so you want to connect to your infrastructure through VPN. The VPN creates on public, like you have your own connectivity type only. Virtually it is connected. Okay, virtualization server guys, different virtual hypervisors are there. By installing hypervisors into a server hardware, so then it is become virtualization server, like a Hyper-V servers, VMware vSphere servers, Citrix Zen servers, Proxmox VE servers, Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization servers. Storage servers and file servers have a link. What it is? Store servers is CAFS and NFS are a NAS based servers. Like you can share the data files directly through the NAS. Centralized storage kind of stuff. SAN, storage area network, is follow the redundancy. It share that disk space like a blocks directly to the servers. Of course, database server guys, by installing database application, Oracle database application, or MySQL or a MS SQL servers into a machine, then it is act like a database server. Okay. Guys, understand these things? Different type of servers based on what service it is providing. What is that service? Use of that services. No one is talking it. So these servers, guys, these servers are Microsoft. These servers based on operating system, by installing some operating system into a machine, we can also call them as a server. Okay, whether it is providing a particular service or not, but still we can able to call them as a server. That is a server operating systems. These server operating systems are support to install and run a server related applications, packages or built-in features. Okay, so server operating systems, those servers, they have a built-in features by installing application, so they will become a particular server. Okay, so that is the facility available in the server operating system. Who are there from Microsoft Windows NT Server 2000, Server 2008, Server 2008, R2 Server 2012, 12 R2 2016, 2019, latest one is 2022. These are the server-based operating system. We are using Windows 10. It is a client-based operating system, desktop operating system. Desktop operating system having lot of features to work with your computer, playing games, word processing. Okay, so programming, these are the features of Windows desktop operating system. For it is user purpose and user purpose, user experience. But server operating system are meant to provide a service to the their clients. Okay, so like that same thing, Linux having different distributions. So they for okay, act like a server. So Unix servers are there, IBM servers are there, virtualization servers also there. Virtualization servers also there. So direct virtualization server operating system is available. Like a Proxmox, VXN servers, VMware, vSphere, or ESXi, Hyper-V server. This is directly can install into a machine, then it is act like a server. Virtual servers. Virtualization server, not virtual server. Okay. Next is a server based on the hardware. Tower server, rack server, blade server. Tower servers are look like a desktop servers only. It is look like your desktop only. You go a little down, see this. This is the tower server. It is look like a desktop only, but it contains lot of facilities inside. For example, bigger the processor. Normally we are using i3, i5, i7 processor, but in server they use a Xeon processor because it contains lot of number of cores, cache memories. Okay, guys, server hardware is meant to run for a 24 by 7. Our laptops and desktop are not meant for a running 24 by 7, but are meant for a 24 by 7 running only. Okay, this is how tower servers are look like. Guys, you need a server, one server or two servers. You can go with a can. These servers are a servers. I'm getting a headache. These servers are a server for like a one server, two server kind of stuff. Your organization is a small organization. You want to put a one server, then you can put a one tower server. But it occupies space. space occupation is higher than compared to other models. Okay, cabling. Okay, easy to placing is not there. Okay, it's not easy to placing. It is easy, but one server, the server is server. That's it. So you need a server, you got a server. That's it. Like you wanted 2 3 servers, then you can go for a tower server. Next one is rack server or rack mount server. It is a rack server. Okay, it is a racks. These are the rack servers. Can you see here is a guy pulling the rack? Means this entire part is a server. Server means it contains the processors, RAMs, SSDs, hard disks, okay, onboard RAID controllers. So everything is there in the one single server. It is okay. One blade, one server, one rack, one server, one tower, one server. And server means in this server context, okay, it is a machine contains a processor, RAMs, motherboard is there, SMPS is there, multiple servers you can able to put it, multiple processors you can able to put in one board, multiple RAMs you can large RAM sizes support, RAID support, SCSI support is also there. So that is your rack server. Next one is blade. Blade servers are very smaller as compared to rack server. It is a one rack, but in single rack, multiple blades are there. You can see this is the second one is this one. The second one is a rack server, the single server, and this is a rack which contains a multiple blades in it. Means multiple servers it is. Okay, so this is tower server, rack server, and a blade server. What is he is doing? Is inserting a blade into a rack. Okay, this is back side. Every connection is there. Network connections, power connections, monitor, keyboard connections, and everything is there. You can connect it and you can do it. It is not a hard disk, guys. What is inserting is a blade server. Okay, so blade server reduce the size of server size, but the blade server compared to tower and rack with the blade size is very less. In a small space, you can put a multiple blade servers. But point is the blade server having a limited server things like a onboard RAID controllers, SCSI connectivities are very less as compared to rack and tower servers. Okay, so there is a differentiation is given here. You can see the power, maintenance, cost, size, cabling, business model, design, mount inside, operational cost, and examples of a blade, rack, and tower server. The power consumption is more and definition standalone server, tower server I'm reading guys. It is a standalone server built in vertical structure. They usually come with a minimal parts and preloaded software and can be optimized for a specific needs. More power consumption, so more maintenance, cost less expensive and cheaper compared to others. Size comparatively larger it is a size. One single server, it is separate server. More cabling requirement, ideal for a small businesses. So it is design is standalone one and a rack or a standalone one. Mount inside, like inside rack or standalone. Operational cost is high and example, there is a model numbers also given. Next one is rack server. Rack server, no external hard enclosures, but housed in slot of rack structure. Means the overall body does not contain any separate enclosure, but it can be put it into a rack, so automatically enclosures. More power consumption compared to blade and more power maintenance. Highly priced, larger the size. more cabling requirement, ideal for small and mid-sized businesses, and standalone rack structure, high cost to manage. Blade server, why cost is different, guys? Because of rack server contains everything like a storage, connectivity, and all. Blade servers contains very less. The blade servers usually like the blade servers. Basically, what I am trying to say, it is as the unit size means internally components are additional component facilities not there. Like you have to compulsory required for storage, central storage is required. That's why it is small size and as well as less cabling structure and less cost because of other facilities. A enclosure composed of circuit board with a minimal components. It houses multiple blade and have power and network requirements served through the chassis. Less power consumption, less maintenance, lower price, small in size and compact, less cabling requirement, majorly used by large organizations. It is used by large organizations. The rack is small to mid size. Tower is small organizations. Okay, you want to put a multiple servers, blade servers. You want to go with a one or two servers, tower server. You want to go with a 5 or 10 servers, rack servers. You like 10 means blade also we can get a 10. Lower cost to manage, and these are the different models. Guys, this is a data center. This is a data center what I'm tracking here. So when you type a data center here, okay, so these are all data centers. Can you see? There's a lot of big boxes you can able to see. Okay. She is working on a data center connectivity. Okay, see these are the data centers, how it is looking. Yes, what is a data center? Data center contains. So these data center contains a servers like a rack servers, blade servers kind of stuff. Servers, of course, operating systems, applications. Data center means servers are there, operating systems are there, applications are running, applications are also running. Okay. Next one is you have to store the data, the storage devices like a hard disk, SSDs, SCSI, iSCSI, SAN, NAS kind of storages are there. Networking components are there like a routers, switches, fiber optical connections, and normally UTP, STP connections, firewalls, NICs. Okay. Um, Softwares, cabling, already I told that one, right? Right. Backup power supply. Power supply, first of all, power supply is required. Backup power supply is required. Cooling system is required to make it temperature is normal. So these are the things in the one single data center. Okay, these are the components of data center. So what is a data center? Data center contains servers, operating systems, applications, routers, switches, networking cables like a fiber optical cable, UTP, STP cables, firewalls, this is entirely firewalls for protection, IPS, IDS kind of stuff. Okay, so power supply, backup power supply, storage devices, backup storage devices. Okay, and of course the environment wise like a temperature, cooling. Okay, so these are all comes under one single data center. Okay, monitoring of each and every aspect of a data center like how many servers are running, how many rack servers are good. Okay, what is the status of a server, what is status of application monitoring, process monitoring, network monitoring, router switches, cable connectivity. Okay, so disk storage, so storage connectivity, storage access. Okay, and also environmental variability, environment, not only an application, also environment means how the temperature is there, how much humidity is there, how much oxygen is there, how much carbon dioxide is there. So everything we have to monitor that entire environment. So that is called a data center monitor. Okay. So you can try what are the data center monitoring tools, how it is works kind of stuff, how they will map and array designing kind of stuff. Okay, guys. So this is the main part of your what is server and what is client kind of stuff. Peer to peer, server and client. Workgroup and domain is also there. Okay. Guys, understand up to here?
Yes, sir.
Actually, I will stop at this point. Okay, I will stop at this point and I will give you a break, but we don't have a much time. Okay, so then I will tell about a work group and domain. Tomorrow also I will repeat that one, but so I will tell about a small introduction to work. Guys, I will give you a small introduction. So, but read it, guys. It's a very important general questions, and also I will try to share one video is there. I will share it. So please watch what is work group, what is domain, how they will communicate. Okay, so I will share it later. Okay, all videos I will upload later on. Okay, so see, guys, it is a work group. You have a computer. Every computer, like I have a computer. This is a laptop, right? So every laptop or a computer. Basically, there are workgroup pieces. Basically, we are all workgroup pieces. We are all workgroup pieces only. Okay. It is showing workstation, but the workgroup piece. The server domain, that is domain controller, it will shows primary. Server does not show server. It's a workstation. By default, by default, every machine, every computer, by default, there are work group only. There are in the work group only. You are the member of the work group by default. And of course, I'm a Windows 10 Home Edition, so I am definitely work group only. I cannot join to domain. It is. I click on this, rename this PC, advanced. Then this with system properties. Then I click on this change. I click on this change. It is my computer. I am the member of work group. It is work group and member of work group. Member of work group, not member of domain. Even I cannot able to join it. Okay. By default, every PC is a work group PC. If you go to this member of domain and give the domain name, give the domain name and click OK and give an authentication, then click OK, restart, you will be joined to the domain. Okay. So you have individual PCs. Every PC is a workgroup PC. The meaning is every PC has their own local administrator. Like a PC1, local administrator is Akash. Okay. So Akash can able to change settings of this PC1, install application, uninstall applications, and he can also give permission to other users. Akash can manage PC1 but not other PCs. Okay, Akash cannot log into PC2 or controlling PC3 is not happening. Akash is a owner of PC1, not a owner of anyone. Owner means in my context it is admin. Okay. Make changes settings by giving each and every PC something it is. Keep the user information stored in PC2. So Every user, the local user, every local user, every user is an administrator of that system. Means, sorry. User in the PC. I have a user in my PC. This is my user account. This user account information stored in my PC only. User account information is stored in PC. Username and password stored in a PC. Username and the password stored in the PC only. For example, Deepak is trying to log into PC3. The Deepak username password is there. So PC3 can able to verify. If in case Deepak is trying to log into PC1, Deepak username password is not in the PC1, so he cannot able to log in. Not in other PCs. Make changes settings by giving each other every PC kind of stuff. Okay, guys, this is about a small workgroup model. It is a decentralized administration, no centralized control. Every PC has their own administrator. One's PC cannot log into other PCs. Username and password settings information into stored in their own PCs only, not in other PCs. We can manage these PCs by going to individually, not centrally, not centrally, because no centralized administration, no centralized control. Number of PCs increases, it's difficult to manage. It's difficult to manage. Guys, next one is the domain. In a domain, so domain is a name only. If PC join into the domain, if PC is joined to the domain means there is a domain controller maintaining this domain. When these PCs are joined into the domain, okay, join into the domain, so there are comes under domain only. It is a centralized server called a domain controller, centralized controller, centralized server, centralized controller, which is nothing but our domain controller maintaining our domain. Okay, users information, computer information, resource information stored in the database in your domain controller. Domain controller, there is a database called Active Directory Database. Name is ntds.dat, which contains the information of your users, computers, and resources, services, groups. Okay, those database. Next. The user is in the domain controller, not in the local PC here. It's in this one, user in the central PC, not in the local PC. When user 1 want to log into C1, for authentication, request go to the domain controller, request go to domain controller, the domain controller authenticate the user, not a C1. Same, C2 try to log into C2, sorry, user 2 try to log into PC2. Request sent to the domain controller, request go to the domain controller, so domain controller authenticate user. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to say is, guys, what is a domain? It is a centralized administration. Domain controller is a centralized controller is there, that is a domain controller, which is nothing but a server. Domain administrator is a admin for all system in the domain. Enforce various type of settings to large number of users, computers in the domain using group policies. We can enforce various type of settings to large number of users, groups, and computers. Means all these computers, I no need to go to each and every computer to deploy some application or to change some settings. No need to go to each and every PC. I can deploy that one from centralized PC. Okay, that is called a policies. So you can store your user information, computer, groups, services, resources in centralized server, their databases. A user in the domain can log into any of the domain computer. For example, user 1 can able to log into C1, C2, C3, C4 and C5 also, but not in a C6. Why not C6? C6 is not a member of domain. Okay, make sure it is member of a domain, then only you can able to learn. Okay, so this is about a work group and domain. Work group and domain I will explain again, but just I want to add it. Of course, this is active directory, work group domain, active directory, and other things I will explain. Okay, important